Your baby doesn't need more toys, more classes, or more stimulation. Some of the things that light up a baby's brain the most are things most parents genuinely don't think to do because they don't feel like real parenting. They feel too small, too simple, almost too silly to count. But research on early infant development keeps pointing back to the same 5 surprisingly ordinary things. None of them cost money. None of them take training. And most parents are doing almost none of them consistently. Let's go through what your baby actually loves and probably isn't getting enough of. Hey, welcome back to Maya. Every week I break down the real psychology behind your baby's behavior and development, using research, not guesswork. Today isn't about a problem to fix. It's about 5 specific things developmental researchers have found genuinely delight a baby's brain, moments that build language, attachment, and emotional security, all wrapped inside something that just looks like normal Eve. Right-A interaction. The tricky part is these 5 things are so simple that most parents skip right past them, assuming real development has to look more complicated, more structured, more expensive than this. It really doesn't. Let's get into number 1. Number 1, narrating your everyday actions out loud. Researchers call this parallel talk, describing what you're doing as you do it. Now I'm putting on your sock. Here comes the other one. Almost done. It feels a little ridiculous the first 100 times, talking to someone who can't talk back. But babies are constantly building the connection between sounds and meaning, long before they can speak a single word themselves. Every narrated action is free language input, tied directly to something they're experiencing in real time, which makes it far more useful than words heard passively in the background. Studies on early language exposure consistently link the sheer volume of adult words a baby hears, especially words directed at them, not just background noise, to vocabulary growth later on. And babies clearly respond to it. Watch a baby's face during simple narration, and you'll often see focused attention, sometimes even little vocal responses back, almost like they're taking a turn in the conversation. That's not coincidence. That's a baby actively engaging with language in real time. Most parents go quiet during routine tasks, diaper changes, dressing, walking through the house, because narrating feels unnecessary when the baby can't understand yet. But that's exactly the window this kind of input matters most. Number 2, mirroring their facial expressions back to them. When a baby makes a face, surprised eyebrows, a scrunched nose, an exaggerated frown, and you mirror that exact expression back, something important happens. The baby is essentially seeing their own internal state reflected on another person's face, almost like an emotional mirror. This is part of how babies begin learning that their feelings are visible, understandable, and shared with someone else. A foundational piece of emotional development, sometimes called affect mirroring. It also builds something researchers call a sense of contingency. When I do something, someone responds. That predictable back and forth is one of the earliest building blocks of a baby's sense of connection and safety in the whoa. RLD. Most parents mirror the big stuff instinctively. A huge belly laugh gets an exaggerated laugh back without even thinking about it. But the small, subtle expressions, the little squints, the tiny puzzled looks, the brief flickers of surprise, usually go completely unmirrored. Yet those small moments, repeated often throughout an ordinary day, may matter just as much as the big, obvious ones. Number 3, Parentese. That slower, higher-pitched, exaggerated melodic speech pattern most adults slip into naturally around babies. For years it got dismissed as silly baby talk, something to grow out of quickly. But research has found Parentese isn't nonsense at all. It's actually a highly effective teaching tool wrapped in something that sounds playful. The exaggerated vowel sounds and slower pacing make it easier for a developing brain to pick out distinct speech sounds, which is a crucial early step toward language acquisition. Studies comparing infants exposed to more Parentese versus more standard adult speech have found links to stronger vocabulary development later in toddlerhood. And here's the surprising part. It works specifically because it's directed one-on-one at the baby, not simply because it's simplified. A baby overhearing two adults talk in a normal register nearby doesn't get nearly the same language benefit as a baby being spoken to directly, even in that slower, sing-song way that can feel a little embarrassing to do in public. Most parents naturally do this at home, alone with their baby, then stop the moment someone else walks into the room, right when consistency would probably matter most. Number 4, giving your baby your full, uninterrupted face during routine caregiving moments. Feeding, diaper changes, bath time. These moments happen many times a day, which makes them one of the highest volume opportunities for connection available to any parent, built right into a schedule you already have. But they're also exactly when a phone tends to come out, because the task itself doesn't require much active thought from you. Research on joint attention and early attachment consistently shows that a baby scanning a caregiver's face during these repeated, everyday moments is doing important relational work, reading expressions, building trust, learning. The rhythm of back-and-forth interaction that underlies all future communication. When a caregiver's face is available and responsive during these small moments, babies get repeated, low-effort reps at exactly this kind of connection, dozens of times a day without any extra effort. When a phone is the primary object of attention instead, that rep simply doesn't happen, not because anything harmful occurs in that single instance, but because an opportunity quietly goes unused over and over. This isn't about eliminating your phone completely, and nobody's suggesting perfection here. It's about noticing how many built-in connection windows already exist in a completely normal day, without needing to add anything new to your routine at all. Number 5, extended, unhurried physical closeness, beyond just feeding or comforting a cry. Holding a calm, content baby close, skin to skin or simply chest to chest, with no immediate task attached to it at all. Touch is one of the most well-researched regulators of a baby's nervous system, consistently tied to lower stress hormones and steadier heart rate patterns in infant studies. But in practice, most physical contact with a baby happens only around a specific need: feeding, soothing, changing, settling them for sleep. The in-between moments, when a baby is already calm and content, often get treated as the ideal time to set them down and get something else done, because the urgent need has already been met. Which is completely understandable and not a criticism of any parent's day. But it also means a baby's calmest, most receptive state is frequently the exact moment they get the least physical closeness, rather than the most. If even one of these surprised you, hit subscribe. Next week, I'm covering 5 more things babies love that most parents accidentally skip during the toddler years. Let's recap. Babies genuinely love narrating your everyday actions out loud, mirroring their small facial expressions back to them, speaking directly to them in that slower, melodic Parentese pattern, giving them your full face during routine. Care instead of a phone screen, and extended physical closeness, even when nothing's technically wrong. None of these require new toys, classes, or special techniques you have to learn. They're all things you're already physically present for, dozens of times across an ordinary day. The opportunity here was never more time. It's simply noticing the time that's already there and filling it a little differently. Pick just one of these 5 to try today, maybe narrating the next diaper change or putting the phone down during the next feeding. Comment which one you're going to try. I read every single one. Subscribe for next week's follow-up on the toddler years. See you in the next one.